If you like coastal or beach hikes, then this one is for you. It is probably my favorite hike in the city of Puerto Vallarta. It starts right at Los Muertos Pier. It's very easy to do. It's 2 kilometers long each way. That's about 1.25 miles one way. It takes you across spectacular beaches and along a rocky coastline to the Lindamar Resort, where you can catch lunch at a fabulous restaurant called La Playita. La Playita is located in the Conchas Chinas area of Puerto Vallarta. Go or head on down to Los Muertos Pier and check it out. There's lots of great boats here, and if you're looking for a ride to one of the southern coastal beaches, this is where you catch a water taxi. If you go at the front of the pier, there's a variety of people selling tickets. For example, you can go to Yalapa. It's about a 30-minute ride by water taxi, and the cost in 2024 is 500 pesos for a return trip. Other beaches you can go to by water taxi include Camixto and Las Animas, very popular. So to get this hike started, you're going to proceed to the end of Los Muertos Pier and turn right. That means you'll be heading south along the sidewalk and past a variety of different beach clubs. The first beach club is actually part of the San Marino Hotel. You can't rent these because they're used exclusively by guests, but the next 3 clubs you can rent chairs during the high season, which is generally from November through April. Sometimes you need to make reservations to ensure that you have a seat. I like the lounge chairs, and I like to sit directly in front of the water, so I always make a reservation before going here. The first club is Si Senor, and then the next club after that is La Palapa, followed by El Dorado. All 3 are great, but they all do charge a service fee for between 350 and 500 pesos for using the chairs, but that comes off your food and drink menu. So pretty fair overall. These beach clubs are really fantastic. One of the reasons I like them, other than the ambiance and the food, is that this is normally some of the calmest water in the bay. So if you want to avoid some of the waves, the closer you get to the pier, you'll find that getting in and out of the water, because the lower height of the waves or volume of waves, this is the place you want to be. For this particular hike, we're going to get off the beach boardwalk and turn left and then right on Malecon Street and head towards the resort called Vallarta Shores. On the way back, we'll walk the entire beach back to the Los Muertos Pier. Just something to break up the hikes, which I hope you find interesting. The Malecon Street ends at Vallarta Shores, and there's a walkway or public access way to the beach. Just turn right to access it, and then once you're on the beach, go left, and you'll see a large hill in front of you, and you'll be surprised to note that there is a pathway up this hill, up and over, and the beach totally changes at that particular point. You'll find that it goes from this nice sandy beach to a nice rocky coastline, which is more emblematic of the entire south coast. Lots of rocky coastlines and lots of smaller beaches. This is a statue of the man riding, or the boy riding, a seahorse, which is emblematic of the city of Puerto Vallarta now. So at this point, we proceed up the walkway to this little rocky outcrop here, which has spectacular views of the beach. And on the one side, you'll see the Los Muertos Pier and the sand beaches there. And on the left-hand side, or the south side, you will see this rocky coastline that I really find enjoyable to walk along. I'm sure you can see there are lots of resorts as well as condominiums along this section of the beach. And again, this area is now called Conchas Chinas. Some people refer to it as the Beverly Hills of Puerto Vallarta. Now that you've had a chance to check out the beaches on both sides of this rocky outcrop, follow the path down to the first beach, and then you'll see a walkway, a cement path actually, that'll take you across some of the condominiums and resorts here. A lot of people hang out at these beaches, but I very rarely see people swimming at this first beach. I think there's quite a few rocks in the water, so I would only attempt it if it was a very calm day. We'll be passing a number of other smaller beaches that are very popular to hang out and swim. The best time to take this hike is when there's a low tide. You can just Google that when that is. Having said that, even if it is high tide, you can take alternate paths around the different areas. I like low tide because it gives you the best opportunity to walk the whole beach section, even around some of the rocky sections. For today's hike, we're actually going to be hiking when it's pretty much at full tide. It's just starting to recede, which I think is probably a good way to show you how to get to Conchas Chinas. For the simple fact is that you'll see some of the pathways I take to get around sections that you can't walk directly on the beach. And then the next time you come, if you choose low tide, it'll be quite easy to get around those sections without cutting across to some of the sidewalks. So we've left the cement pathway and entered a road section. I've always enjoyed the smaller couple of homes that have been here. This gentleman here has put a giraffe statue in his front yard facing the ocean, which I've always found interesting, and he has some beautiful gardens surrounding his property. So just proceed on down the road, keep bearing to the right, and you'll eventually come to another pathway. You'll proceed across a bridge and then along this cobblestone street. You can go straight, or as we did today, we went back down to the beach so we could walk along part of the coastline. Again, it's up to you. I find this area just so beautiful and interesting. I like to walk along the beach and over the rocks as much as possible.
Big waves here.
At this point, the beaches start to turn to a combination of rocky coastline and small sandy beaches, and sometimes you find these small little pools on the rocks which families take advantage of, especially if they have small children. There are a number of lifeguards stations here, but for the last 7 years that I've been here, I've never seen a lifeguard in any of them. So I don't think this is the best place to swim, especially in the rocky sections, other than if you want to snorkel. A lot of people do snorkel around these rocky outcrops. They like to fish off them, especially when it's lower tide. But for just recreational swimming, I don't recommend it until you get to some of the later beaches, which I'll show you shortly. Since we're at near full tide, we had to get off the beach and proceed up this walkway to get around this one section, but normally at low tide you can actually walk around these rocks on the beach and pretty much stay on the beach all the way to Conchas Chinas. Anyways, a short detour here on this walkway and small bridge, easy to do. The one advantage of taking the walkway is that the higher elevation does give you a different perspective of the beach and the coastline, and it's fantastic for taking pictures from. This section of the beach is very nice. It has some of the nicest or poshest homes in the area with a great seawall, so you can't get up to them, but it is, in my opinion, a great place to hang out. Possibly not the greatest place for swimming on this side, but a short distance over this small little walkway is where many people tend to swim in the ocean along this stretch of the coast.
Yep.
This is one of the nicest beaches in Puerto Vallarta. It's just right in the heart of Conchas Chinas. At this point, you're almost to the Lindamar Resort. It's very popular, but nowhere near as popular as the downtown beaches. A lot of people will bring their beach chairs out here, hang out, and definitely when the tides aren't high and the beach and the waves are calm, it's a great place to swim. There is sea urchins on some of the rocks here, so that's why I wouldn't recommend it if it's wavy. So you don't, because you do not want to get pushed into the rocks, but it's very popular to come out here and swim, especially when it's low tide and the ocean is calm. So up this final walkway, we'll come up to the road, and this particular road, once we turn right, will take us to the Lindamar Resort, which is a great place to have lunch and get something to drink. But turn around and take a look back along the beach here. This is one of the most beautiful stretches of coastline that I know of in Puerto Vallarta, and so close to the downtown. Highly recommend you come here and check it out. Just video and pictures just don't do it justice. You need to see it yourself. So you can see we're walking along a road here, and you're going to pass some small resorts. I think they're fairly old and very interesting, especially this dome structure on the left-hand side. I think it's one of the most interesting pieces of architecture around the area. Anyways, this is Conchas Chinas, and this will be the Lindamar Resort, and the entrance we're going towards now is called La Playita. I believe it's associated with the Lindamar Resort, although a separate entity on its own. La Playita is a great place to come out for lunch or even have dinner. They do have happy hours. I believe it runs from 12 to 1 o'clock, and then again from 5 to 6. And their happy hour is a true happy hour in terms of that the drinks are half price, not 2 for 1. At least that's what it is in 2024. But the real highlight is the views that you get from the restaurant. You eat right along the coastline at this rocky coast, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I must say the food is exceptional as well as being reasonably priced. Now, one other thing you can do here, if you're eating lunch, you can hang around here for a bit of time observing the water, but you can also rent some chairs down here, and if you bring your snorkeling equipment and bathing suit, this is a very good place to snorkel on a calm day. Again, you just need to be cognizant that there may be some sea urchins on the rocks and avoid those. And now today we are still close to high tide, but during low tide, this section here is fully away from the water, and so you do have a very comfortable area to sit in. So that was the Lindamar Resort and the La Playita restaurant, and now we'll head our way back. Again, it was 2 kilometers or 1.25 miles to get to the resort along the beach, and we will repeat the same thing on the way back. We'll take a slightly different route at the end. Rather than going down the streets, we will try and stay to the waterfront or the beaches as much as possible. As I indicated before, it was close to high tide when we took this hike, and it was a fairly wavy day, so that's why you don't see a lot of people swimming. But this place is absolutely gorgeous at low tide and calm days, and a great place to swim, especially in this stretch of the beach. But if you don't want to swim, it's also a great place to just sit out and read a book. It's the view is spectacular, and it's not that populated, therefore it's pretty relaxing. So on the way back, you've already seen this stretch of the beach, but I'm going to show you a shorter version just so you get an idea of what the beaches and areas look like from a different angle.
still feed a lot of people that way.
Are we going to be on the beach for a while?
Yes, all the way to the pier.
So on our way to Conchas Chinas, we took the street, and on our way back to Los Muertos Pier, we're going to walk along the beach and in front of all the beach clubs to give you a perspective of what this section of the town is like. Again, we're going past the boy and seahorse statue, which is emblematic of the town of Puerto Vallarta, or maybe I should say they've adopted this emblem as the emblem for the city. This is Los Muertos Beach, and it is by far the most popular beach in all of Puerto Vallarta. And you can see the volume of people just sitting around and taking in the sun and the sea. This section of the beach here, more towards the end, can be a little bit wavy. And when I rent out my chairs, I like to go closer to the pier. I find it a lot calmer in that section. Well, I hope you enjoyed the hike today, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please just drop me a note, and I'll try and get back to you and answer them as soon as possible.